Did you know one of the American Pie cast members was working as a churro boy at a zoo just weeks before filming started?
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
And that's just the beginning of the wild stories you've never heard about this iconic crew.
I want you to be very, very careful when you're putting on the corsage.
Pre-American Pie careers. Before American Pie launched its cast to stardom, their career paths were far from glamorous. Jason Biggs started acting at age 5 and had built an impressive resume before landing the role of Jim Levenstein. He appeared in As the World Turns, earning a Daytime Emmy nomination by 17. Still, his career stalled after a string of canceled pilots. Biggs later admitted his awkward real-life persona made him a perfect fit for Jim's cringeworthy antics, making the role a career-defining moment. Alyson Hannigan was already well known by 1999, thanks to her role as Willow Rosenberg on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Playing a quirky, lovable character gave her the comedic timing needed for Michelle. Hannigan credited Buffy for teaching her how to balance humor and heart, a skill she leaned on heavily for American Pie.
Much in the way of power, really. I mean, most of my potions come out soup.
Sean William Scott's journey was even bumpier. Before playing Stifler, he was scraping by with odd jobs, including stints at Home Depot and handing out churros at the Los Angeles Zoo. His paycheck for American Pie was just $8,000, a shockingly low number considering how iconic the role would become. Stifler's crude charm turned Scott into a household name and opened doors to bigger roles in Hollywood.
What's wrong? What's wrong?
Tara Reid had been acting since childhood, appearing in commercials for brands like Jell-O and McDonald's. By her late teens, she had small roles in films like Urban Legend and The Big Lebowski. Playing Vicky in American Pie solidified her as a rising star and made her a recognizable face in teen movies. Chris Klein's discovery was pure luck. While still in high school, director Alexander Payne cast him in Election without an audition. That role led directly to him being cast as Oz, cementing his place in the American Pie ensemble.
I've got this lacrosse game.
Jennifer Coolidge, the oldest of the main cast at 38, had a different path. She spent years doing stand-up comedy and bit parts on TV before landing her role as Stifler's mom. Her deadpan humor and over-the-top delivery made her one of the most memorable characters in the film.
3 sheets to the wind, man.
I'm so happy for you.
Casting choices and near misses. Casting American Pie was a puzzle, full of unexpected twists and close calls. For the role of Jim, the studio initially looked at other actors. James Franco was a contender, riding the momentum of his early roles. Jason Segel also auditioned, bringing his quirky humor to the table, but neither quite captured Jim's awkward but lovable energy. Jason Biggs eventually won the role after a callback where his hilariously cringeworthy performance sealed the deal. The team couldn't stop laughing and knew they'd found their Jim.
Now, I just want you to know that it's a perfectly normal...
Tara Reid wasn't the first pick for Vicky either. Natasha Lyonne, who later played Jessica, originally auditioned for the role.
This blah blah, etc., right?
Lyonne wasn't initially sold on the script's raunchiness, but came to appreciate its honest humor. Her move to Jessica gave the film its sharp-tongued realist, a perfect counterbalance to the chaos around her. Sean William Scott's path to Stifler was a mix of hustle and raw talent. His agent pushed hard to get him an audition. When he finally got in front of the casting team, Scott didn't hold back. He went full Stifler, cracking jokes, tossing out sarcastic remarks, and embracing the character's over-the-top energy. By the end of his audition, there was no question. Scott was Stifler.
I know.
Chris Klein's story was even more unconventional. He never auditioned for American Pie. His role as Paul Metzler in Election caught the filmmakers' attention, and they offered him Oz without hesitation. Klein's laid-back charm and natural likability fit the character perfectly, making him a standout in the ensemble.
I'm not playing.
You missing the game for us?
No.
Then there's Eugene Levy, whose comedic instincts brought Jim's dad to life. Levy insisted on improvising most of his lines, turning simple fatherly advice into laugh-out-loud moments.
We've had the little father-son.
His blend of awkward warmth and deadpan delivery became a hallmark of the film's humor.
I bought some magazines.
Every casting choice added to the film's unique dynamic. From last-minute decisions to happy accidents, the team created a cast with the perfect mix of chemistry and personality.
I'm coming!
That magic was crucial to turning American Pie into a defining comedy of its generation. Filming secrets. The American Pie set was anything but ordinary. Millikan High School in Long Beach, California, served as the backdrop for the high school scenes. Fans of Buffy the Vampire Slayer might notice it's the same school used in Allison Hannigan's other big hit. This little detail added a fun connection between her two most iconic roles. The pie scene? Easily the most talked about moment of the film. But filming it wasn't as simple as grabbing a dessert and rolling the cameras. Jason Biggs had to rehearse with a stand-in pie multiple times to nail the timing and awkward expressions. Director Paul Weitz wanted the scene to walk the line between cringy and hilarious without going overboard. Only once the practice rounds were flawless did they use the hero pie for the actual take. Biggs later admitted it was one of the most uncomfortable days he'd ever had on set. Stifler's house party was another logistical headache. The scene featured over 50 extras, multiple stunts, and carefully choreographed chaos. The shoot dragged on for 16 hours straight, pushing the cast and crew to their limits. Sean William Scott, staying true to his character, kept the energy up with over-the-top jokes and antics that had everyone laughing through the exhaustion.
Weird. Try the house down the street.
Jennifer Coolidge's scenes, on the other hand, were shot in just 1 week. Tight scheduling didn't stop her from stealing the show as Stifler's mom. Coolidge improvised much of her dialogue, bringing an unpredictability that elevated her character beyond a simple gag. The script underwent heavy edits to avoid an NC-17 rating. Several jokes and scenes were toned down, but the team fought to keep the movie's edge intact. Even with rewrites, the cast and crew weren't sure how audiences would react to the final cut.
I think I should.
The real ages of the cast. High schoolers played by 20-somethings, that's classic Hollywood. The cast of American Pie followed this tradition, blending youthful looks with seasoned talent. Jason Biggs and Chris Klein, both 21 during filming, were among the youngest of the group. Their ages worked in their favor, close enough to high school to feel authentic, but mature enough to handle the film's risque humor and long shooting days.
Dude, it's gonna happen.
Jennifer Coolidge, playing the iconic Stifler's mom, was at the opposite end of the spectrum. At 38, she embraced her role with the confidence and experience only years in the business could bring.
Mr. Finch, are you trying to seduce me?
Coolidge often joked about the irony of being old enough to actually be Sean William Scott's mother. Scott, at 22, delivered an unfiltered, high-energy performance that made Stifler one of the most memorable characters in the franchise.
Mom? Shipwreck?
Allison Hannigan and Natasha Lyonne, both 24, brought a sharp wit and self-awareness to their roles as Michelle and Jessica. Their slightly older ages allowed them to fully lean into the comedic timing and layered personalities of their characters.
What you need to do is learn how to press a girl's buttons.
Tara Reid, at 23, embodied Vicky's mix of vulnerability and youthful charm, adding depth to a character navigating the complexities of teenage love. On set, the cast often poked fun at their pretend high school experience. Scenes like the prom or football practice, surrounded by younger extras, led to plenty of laughs. Sean William Scott, never one to miss a joke, reportedly kept spirits high by exaggerating how much older they all were compared to actual teens. Casting older actors wasn't just about looks. Directors needed performers who could handle the demands of raunchy humor, long hours, and tight schedules.
Well, just don't expect us to pay for the limo.
Strict labor laws for minors made casting real teenagers impractical. This strategy has long been an industry standard, and American Pie embraced it fully. Unique preparations for roles. The American Pie cast didn't just clock in and out. They dove deep into their characters, creating iconic performances still quoted today. Eugene Levy, playing Jim's awkwardly supportive dad, set a high bar. Known for his improvisational brilliance, Levy asked for minimal scripting. Instead, he worked with broad scene outlines, allowing him to ad-lib some of the film's most memorable lines.
I used to call it the stroking the salami.
His deadpan delivery of, "I have to ask, was it warm?" perfectly captured the mix of cringe and heart that defined his character.
But you know your Uncle Mort? He pets the one-eyed snake 5-6 times a day.
Levy's knack for blending humor with sincerity made Jim's dad a fan favorite. Sean William Scott had a completely different strategy. To perfect Stifler's outrageous energy, Scott spent time observing frat party culture. He studied how that guy acted, the loud, cocky center of attention. The effort showed on screen, but Scott didn't stop there. Between takes, he stayed in character, cracking jokes and pulling pranks on the cast and crew. Not everyone appreciated his off-camera antics, but they were undeniably effective in keeping Stifler's larger-than-life personality alive. Jennifer Coolidge approached Stifler's mom with her signature humor.
Stifler's mom,
She drew from old Hollywood glamour to craft a character who oozed confidence and absurdity in equal measure. Coolidge later joked that playing the original MILF gave her a personal confidence boost, especially in dating. Her mix of charm and comedic timing added an unexpected layer to what could have been a one-note role.
I'm so happy for you. But it takes the edge off, doesn't it?
Allison Hannigan took a more technical approach for Michelle. Known for her sweetness as Willow in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, she wanted Michelle to feel completely different. She worked with a dialect coach to create Michelle's over-enunciated speech, giving lines like, "This one time at band camp," their distinct and unforgettable delivery.
Cool. We're gonna have such a good time.
Hannigan's commitment turned Michelle into one of the most unexpectedly hilarious characters in the film. Off-camera friendships. The American Pie cast didn't just share screen time, they bonded for real. Most were in their early 20s, navigating first big roles while figuring out Hollywood. This mix of fresh starts and shared experiences turned the set into a chaotic blend of hard work, jokes, and plenty of pranks. Jason Biggs and Sean William Scott quickly became the go-to troublemakers. Scott, channeling his inner Stifler, snuck a fake spider into Biggs's trailer, fully aware of his co-star's arachnophobia.
Hey, Kevin. You seen Shipwreck lately?
Biggs didn't take it well, but the prank became a running gag for days. Their playful feud carried over to press junkets, where they'd tease each other non-stop, keeping the vibe light and the interviews hilarious. Tara Reid and Allison Hannigan clicked in a quieter way. They leaned on each other to handle the whirlwind of fame. Their downtime was spent shopping or hanging out, offering some calm amid the frenzy. Though their characters didn't have many scenes together, their friendship grew off-set. Jennifer Coolidge brought her signature charm to the group, stepping into an unofficial mentor role. As the eldest, she often shared funny stories about her early days in comedy. Her ability to lift everyone's mood, whether with a quick joke or an over-the-top impression, kept spirits high during grueling shoots.
I got some scotch.
Natasha Lyonne, the resident queen of sass, kept everyone grounded. Her sharp humor and candid advice were a lifeline when things got overwhelming. Even awkward moments like filming the infamous pie scene became bonding experiences.
What do you expect him to drive to Cornell for?
Jason Biggs had to perform one of the most ridiculous moments of his career with everyone watching. Instead of shying away, he leaned into the absurdity, earning the crew's respect for his commitment. Post-American Pie career boosts. For most of the cast, American Pie wasn't just a film, it was a game changer. Jason Biggs quickly became the face of awkward teen comedies. He nailed the role of the everyman with painfully relatable missteps. After American Pie, he starred in Loser and Saving Silverman. While his film career slowed, Biggs found a second wind in television. His role as Larry Bloom on Orange is the New Black showed off his dramatic chops, proving he wasn't just the guy who humiliated himself on camera. Allison Hannigan's career shot into overdrive after the movie. Already beloved as Willow on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, she struck sitcom gold with How I Met Your Mother. Playing Lily Aldrin for 9 seasons, she mastered the art of balancing humor with heartfelt moments.
Knuckle sandwich! Come on, baby. You want some soup?
Her work earned her award nominations and cemented her as a TV powerhouse. Seann William Scott rode Stifler's popularity straight into early 2000s comedy stardom. He headlined hits like Dude, Where's My Car, and Road Trip, delivering laugh after laugh with his unmatched energy. Scott later added voice acting to his resume, playing Crash in the Ice Age franchise.
What? You just got burned! Fun sucker!
While his on-screen roles became less frequent, his comedic timing kept him relevant long after Stifler's antics. Tara Reid's path was different. She embraced a mix of roles, becoming a pop culture fixture. She starred in Van Wilder and the infamous Sharknado series while dabbling in reality TV. Natasha Lyonne took a more niche route. She gravitated toward indie projects like But I'm a Cheerleader, earning critical acclaim. Her career hit new heights in the 2010s with Russian Doll, a series that earned her Emmy nominations and reminded audiences of her undeniable talent. Jennifer Coolidge became a legend in her own right.
Just Sophie? That was the name of my talk show in Poland.
Stifler's mom launched her into comedic stardom, leading to roles in Legally Blonde and Christopher Guest's mockumentaries. Decades later, she wowed audiences in The White Lotus, earning awards and proving her talent transcends time. While careers ebbed and flowed, American Pie remained a career-defining moment for all, showing how one breakout hit can shape a Hollywood journey. Controversies and criticism. American Pie hit theaters in 1999 to both applause and criticism. Some saw it as a refreshing, boundary-pushing teen comedy. Others called it crude and tasteless, accusing it of over-relying on shock value. The film's explicit take on teenage sexuality didn't sit well with everyone. Parents' groups and conservative organizations voiced concerns, debating whether such themes had a place in mainstream movies. One scene, in particular, became a lightning rod for controversy. Jim's live-streamed encounter with Nadia, played by Shannon Elizabeth.
Did I miss anything?
While intended as a comedic highlight, the scene raised eyebrows for its treatment of privacy and consent. At the time, audiences laughed, but critics questioned the implications. Years later, Elizabeth admitted that the scene likely wouldn't be written today, reflecting how societal attitudes have evolved. What was once dismissed as a joke is now seen through a more critical lens, especially in the context of digital ethics. The backlash didn't end with the movie. Tara Reid, who played Vicky, became a frequent target of tabloid culture in the 2000s. Her personal life, including her party lifestyle, often made headlines, overshadowing her acting career. It's a pattern Hollywood has seen time and again, where the spotlight shifts from talent to personal struggles.
Yeah.
Creating a narrative Reid herself has pushed back against in later interviews. Natasha Lyonne also faced challenges after the film's release. Known for her unique screen presence, Lyonne encountered health problems and legal troubles that took her out of Hollywood for a time. Yet, her story took a turn for the better. With resilience and determination, she returned stronger than ever, earning acclaim for roles in Orange is the New Black and Russian Doll. Despite its controversies, American Pie avoided being completely derailed by backlash. The film's humor and themes were divisive, but its cast navigated the fallout with varying degrees of success. While some faced public scrutiny, they continued to carve out their paths, ensuring their work remains part of Hollywood's cultural fabric decades later. Cast members who almost quit Hollywood. Before American Pie, several cast members were on the brink of giving up on acting. Seann William Scott was one of them. Frustrated by constant rejection, he nearly called it quits. To pay the bills, he worked odd jobs, including handing out churros at the Los Angeles Zoo. When the chance to audition for American Pie came along, it felt like his last shot. Scott went all in, and his portrayal of Stifler turned out to be career-defining. The role didn't just make him famous, it completely changed his life.
I wouldn't go telling stories or anything about you.
Chris Klein's situation was different but no less uncertain. After gaining attention in Election, he struggled to find meaningful roles. The lack of opportunities made him question his future in acting. Klein considered heading back to Nebraska to pursue a more stable career. Then came American Pie and the role of Oz, the sweet, soft-spoken jock.
All that you gotta do.
Playing Oz renewed his faith in acting, though his career slowed after the franchise's initial success. Natasha Lyonne, already known for her sharp wit and indie film success, faced a different challenge. By the late 90s, Hollywood's relentless pace left her feeling burned out.
Well, I guess it's all right for me to tell you now.
She wondered if mainstream projects were worth the effort. Getting cast as Jessica in American Pie gave her a much-needed break from indie films and introduced her to a larger audience. Still, Leon eventually returned to her roots, earning acclaim in projects like Russian Doll. Even Jennifer Coolidge, who became an instant standout as Stifler's mom, had moments of doubt. For years, she was typecast in minor comedic roles that didn't fully showcase her talent. American Pie was her breakout moment. The character unleashed her comedic genius and boosted her confidence to chase bigger opportunities. These actors came close to walking away from Hollywood. American Pie didn't just give them roles, it gave them the chance to reimagine their futures. For some, it was a second chance. For others, it was the spark they needed to stay in the game.
Cookies? We're gonna have sex.
Reunion, insights, and reflections. The American Pie cast has had their fair share of reunions, but American Reunion in 2012 was the biggest. The film brought the entire crew back together, both on-screen and off. The chemistry was still there, even after more than a decade apart. Filming wasn't just about the script, it was a chance to reconnect and reflect on how far they'd all come. For Jason Biggs, stepping back into Jim's shoes brought back plenty of memories. He admitted the reunion set reminded him of their long days filming the first movie. This time, he joked, instead of embarrassing teen stories, we were swapping diaper-changing tips.
We sent you an email about getting together a couple of days before the reunion?
Biggs also confessed that revisiting that pie scene still made him cringe, but it was worth it for the laughs it got back in the day. Allison Hannigan saw the reunion as a mix of fun and reality check. Between takes, most conversations revolved around real-life parenting struggles. She joked that their lives now would make for a totally different kind of sequel, one with PTA meetings and grocery store meltdowns. Despite the changes, Hannigan appreciated how the group still knew how to keep things light and funny. Shan William Scott felt the weight of expectations returning as Stifler. I wanted to make sure he was as outrageous as people remembered, he admitted.
Morning, coworkers and cock jerkers.
But Scott's signature humor quickly won everyone over. On set, he kept things lively with constant jokes, reminding everyone why Stifler was such a fan favorite. Jennifer Coolidge brought her own brand of comedy to the reunion.
It's my house. You're lucky I'm letting you stay here.
She poked fun at her character, saying Stifler's mom would probably be scrolling through dating apps by now. Chris Klein, on the other hand, took a more reflective approach. He credited American Pie with jump-starting his career and called the reunion a gift to relive those moments with old friends.